Thanks, Kate. So my name is Matthias Engel from Innogy Ventures. Happy to be back in London, first time on stage in London. I think the reason, and I'll explain how we a bit differentiate, I think the reason for Innogy to create the Innovation Hub and also Innogy Ventures, I think if you look at the presentation of Michael from Bloomberg a minute ago, it very much explains the challenges of a utility company. And RWE, Innogy used to be RWE, had gone through a tremendous change in the past years with the German energy transition. And so we saw the need that if we want to have a future as a company, we need to look beyond purely producing energy and distributing energy, but find digital business models for the future. And that's why the Innovation Hub was created, to be early on connected to startups, identify them, invest in them in an early phase, and then Innogy Ventures as a company and as a fund who would invest in later stage. So let me jump in to explain what we exactly do. Obviously, we have focus areas created. They are, you have seen and heard about all these verticals. We look specifically in these verticals for specific investments, future energy, digital utility, everything about distributed energy, smart grids. Smart and connected is not only smart home, it's more than that. It's also more IoT. Urban solutions, I would say we very much look into electronic vehicles and mobility. That's a very important point. And not specifically about the vehicles, but also on batteries, but more also, let's say, the infrastructure, the charging infrastructure, and all the backbone behind that. And then finally, customer engagement. We think it's important for a company to be engaged with your customers. Churn is a matter. How can you better interact and engage with your customer today and your future customers? I would say that besides these verticals, obviously, we have horizontal, like the emerging technologies, as Michael put it. Blockchain is an important aspect, but also certainly artificial intelligence. Now, we invest in Europe, and that obviously includes UK, and North America, very much aligned with our colleagues from the Innovation Hub in these countries, and also Israel. And we've already done plenty of investments in all of these areas. Now, the idea really was to create a venture capital fund backed by a corporate. But we think it's important not to be seen as a corporate or strategic investor. And that's why we have aligned our strategy along the typical strategies of a fund. And for us, what we do is Series A and B rounds and go beyond that with initial investments of 1 to 5 million. We keep something in reserve for follow-on investments, obviously. We have a time horizon of our investments, 4 to 7 years. The fund actually runs 10 years time altogether. We mostly are have a co-investor role, but we are also happy to go into the lead. There's a clear exit focus. We only take minority stakes, and we do accept plain vanilla VC terms, so there's no bells and whistles as a corporate we would ask for. What we think is important for our success is to provide smart money. So we provide capital, but more than that. And that means we are backed by a corporate company. We have specifically founded and put together the team in the sense that we have a team consisting of people who have experience within Innogy Group. That means there's a network we can tap into, the 40,000 employees. There's always an expert if we need one. At the same time, it's important to have VC experts, and that's why I have created their team. We are 6, 7 people right now. Half of them actually come from Innogy, and half of them have been hired externally. We are where our stakeholders are, and that's, as I said, in Berlin, Silicon Valley, London, and Tel Aviv. We also thought it's important to be in Essen, actually, where the headquarters is, because, as I said, we think it's important to actually connect and try to create that link between the companies we have invested in and Innogy, and that's why I think it's important actually to be also in Essen, with a small team, to be able to tap into the organization if we need to. I think what's also important when I say that we are set up as a fund is that the entire team is just incentivized as any team would be with a normal fund. That means we all have signed up for a carry model. Ultimately, we think that it's a people's business. We want to be sort of head-on-head and eye-on-eye level, sort of with our investments and with the companies we have invested in. Have a very much hands-on approach and try to connect people sort of within the organization. And finally, also the decision process in terms of investments is just done in any other VC logic. We have an investment committee created for our investment decisions, so we don't need any approval or anything from the corporate guys or operational businesses. So some of our portfolio companies, so we've been pretty busy this last year, so that slides becomes fuller and fuller, and hopefully next time there's even more companies on. I think we probably need to do better timing in terms of announcing further closings, because there is something in the pipeline. We'll probably announce in a couple of weeks a investment in North America, sort of in the mobility sector. Jan, I promise you next time we'll organize better timing so I can announce it here on stage. And with that, thank you for your attention. Please come and see me if you think it would be good to have a talk. I'll be here all day. Thank you very much.